This is Commissioner Hufford. I am technologically challenged at the moment, so I'm just going to turn it over, I think, to Commissioner Cunningham to lead the meeting. Is that right?
Yep. Great. Thanks, Kim.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's 4:02 on Thursday, the 3rd of February, 2022. This is a regular meeting virtually, the Darien Police Commission. This is the 2,427th meeting, the Darien Police Commission. And we are virtual. Calling to order. So we have two items first on the agenda: acceptance of minutes of January 13th and January 25th. Do I have a motion to accept both minutes?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, thanks. Correspondence, Chief.
We have two items of correspondence. As most folks might have heard, we had an explosion at the Weeburn Country Club back a few weeks ago. Some type of gas line explosion. Fortunately, no serious injuries, but some significant property damage at the country club. I did get a very nice note from Warden Burdick up there, who's the general manager. And on behalf of the membership and staff, I wanted to thank you for the swift response for the explosion at the Weeburn. Darien Police Department consistently demonstrates professionalism, courteousness, and responsiveness, and are best in class. We sincerely appreciate all that you do for the Weeburn Country Club and for Darien. So thank you to the staff at the Weeburn. No one was significantly or seriously hurt there. The second note is from the Thriving Youth Task Force. As the commission knows, Mark Capelli and I appeared with the Thriving Youth Task Force on an event several months ago in person. They had a second follow-up on re-RACA marijuana cannabis legislation last week. So we got a nice thank you note from the Community Fund and from the Thriving Youth Task Force for our involvement in that. I think it was well received, and so thank you for the kind note, thanking us for our attendance and participation.
Great. Department activity, Captain.
Good afternoon. This activity report was prepared for the period that ran between January 13th and February 3rd. On January 18th, the 56-year-old man was arrested for larceny fifth. January 17th, we responded to the Weeburn Country Club, as the chief mentioned, for an explosion inside of the structure. It was believed to be caused by a propane leak. We responded to two incidents involving the theft of catalytic converters from parked vehicles in two different locations. We responded to 7 domestic disturbance calls, 4 of which resulted in arrests. We had 1 DWI arrest as a result of a 2-car motor vehicle accident. 5 incidents of mail theft, 4 of which involved thefts of checks and outgoing mail at residences. We had 1 residential burglary, 2 incidents involving fraud or phone scams, 1 reported stolen car which was unlocked with the keys in it, 16 burglaries of motor vehicles that were left unlocked. Up to date on the accidents, we had 26 accidents, 1 of which involved a minor injury. We had 67 traffic stops between the traffic division and the patrol division. And then I just wanted to mention some training that our officers are going through. Officer Leslie Silva has become an instructor in the Rape Aggression Defense Program, otherwise known as RAD. Our firearms instructors attended a patrol rifle armorer school. I believe that was up in Trumbull. And we have 2 officers currently attending basic sex crimes investigations training. That'll do it.
Thank you, Captain. Old business.
Well, for COVID-19, I'm thankful to report that we have no staff members out with COVID, either under quarantine or ill, which is a positive step. Town-wide, for the town hall rules for mask wearing, the police department is following that same guidance. As of yesterday, mask wearing in the building is once again voluntary for those that are fully vaccinated. So it is kind of a breath of fresh air, no pun intended, to walk into the building without having to wear a mask. We're still recommending to all staff that they follow all protocols, try to stay away from folks, wash your hands. Our building still remains very clean from our staff members. So this week, nothing much to report on COVID, and we hope it stays that way. On the building issue update, a couple things. We had our budget meeting this week, and we talked a little bit about the grounds here. And as that goes through the budget process, hopefully we can get our grounds squared away outside when spring comes. But the other troubling thing is our ongoing sewage backup issue did rear its head once again. As the commission knows, we installed a hot water jetting system in our sanitary sewer to try to keep that clear during the cold and below freezing winter months. The DPW did a really good job in monitoring that. Because of our water usage had gone up significantly because of that system, they did dial it back. So once they dialed it back, now that the severe cold weather came this week, we had a backup. So they're going to readjust that to get a little more water going through that system, and we'll keep monitoring it to get a happy medium. But clearly, when the building was done in 2011, it's just a design. If you want to call it a flaw, I guess we have to call it a flaw. The avenue that sanitary sewer flows out of this building is not optimal under the design, so it's just something we have to live with and keep monitoring. And I think the system in place with the proper flow of water should keep us in fairly good order. Other than that, the building is still standing.
Great. New business, traffic issues.
The resident from Patton Drive, this is the first item on the agenda, is stuck out of state due to weather. She did ask if it would be possible for her to be on the agenda for our next police commission meeting. And the answer there is absolutely yes. We'll touch base a little bit on Patton Drive. It's always been a cut-through street connecting West Avenue and Howard Road. My statement on Patton Drive would be that due to the two big developments that are going on Heights Road, as part and parcel of those developments, as the commission well knows, that the contractors had to do significant upgrades to signalization in that area. So until such time as those new signals are put in, we don't know how much more benefit we'll get in that area and how much better the traffic may or may not flow through there. It's going to be a betterment for sure, but we're not going to know that until that signalization is installed. There's really no way to make Patton Drive end from one end. There's just not a real estate. There's not real estate enough there to have a turnaround. I've heard over the years floating it where you make it one way in the other direction. That's not really a panacea for the issue there as well. It's kind of a wait and see, but I'd like to hear from the resident when she comes back to the commission in our next meeting. Clearly, we're looking to try to have the residents happy and safe on Patton Drive. I think it's always been a cut-through street, and I don't see any real avenue to preclude through traffic from there. If we precluded through traffic, the next thing would be, well, how do we enforce it? Are we going to have an officer sit there and pull people over for passing through that? So it's a public road, not preclude people from coming down that road, but we can certainly, make sure that they obey the law on the road. So we'll put that in abeyance till next meeting.
Okay. 106.
Well, 106, with the request from residents for crosswalks on Captain Shredder's last day, or maybe the day before his last day, we finally got a response back from the DOT, and that was precipitated by numerous emails sent by Captain Shredder to them asking for updates. So there's nothing really new to report there. They report back the same thing that they reported the last time we asked for the potential for crosswalks. The state bottom line is that there is no sidewalks on Route 106, and they will not recommend or they will not install crosswalks across Route 106 unless there are safe landing areas and or sidewalks up there. I know this seems to go around in a circle, and it's been over 10 years that we've been discussing this. We cannot mandate that the state put in crosswalks there, and I am not of the firm belief that crosswalks there would be exponentially safer for people crossing. I think anyone in this commission or on watching this meeting, and certainly Captain Marin have heard me say that they're experts a lot smarter than me, that sometimes crosswalks give the false illusion of security, complete security, and that people think that because they're in the crosswalk, they have a higher level of safety. That's not always the case, especially on a rural type road like 106. This commission does not, your commission does not set public policy on sidewalks, as we've discussed many, many times. That's where it stands at this point. Now, as far as the dynamic speed sign, which we also talked about potentially for 106, we have them on lower 106 by homeschool. I am fully supportive of a dynamic speed sign on Upper Hoyt Street. I think Commissioner Cunningham, I think you're involved in the potential group with the ARPA funding for infrastructure. I'm not sure it comes under that. I would be a firm proponent requesting to get some funds for a dynamic speed sign under a encroachment permit DOT in that area of Upper Hoyt Street. So directed by the commission, I put that on the front burner to make sure that we get an encroachment permit going with the DPW in the state of Connecticut. So when we achieve funding for that, it would be ready to go in. That's my thought on that. I don't know if the commissioners have any disagreement or agreement, but I don't see any downside for a dynamic speed sign on Upper Hoyt Street. A certain mark.
Yeah, my opinion is I think the dynamic speed sign is something that we should absolutely pursue. I'd absolutely favor that.
I'm not sure we have any member of the public in our meeting that wants to speak to this for the discussion. I see the public comment, I don't think made our agenda, but we're certainly willing and ready at this point to hear from the public from Hoyt Street.
Chief, I didn't get the chance to read the full text from the traffic engineer from the state. He did provide some additional documentation for us to read, encroachment permits, LOT CIP program guidelines. I would love to just kind of maybe take a week to digest some of that and come back, and we'll put that on the agenda. But I think what you're certainly, like Brent, like what you were proposing is totally reasonable.
Well, we can certainly put it on for the next agenda. I'm always willing to have this discussion because I don't really like the sense that I feel from some residents that we're trying to be obstructionists or we're trying to just kick the can down the road to somebody else. That is not the case. Pedestrian safety and traffic safety on 106 and every road in Darien is a major concern for us. And we do not run that roadway. That is a state highway. And we, as the legal traffic authority, cannot mandate that crosswalks are put in there. We're not traffic engineers, but we do study traffic. And I've done radar on the street for 38 years, or 30 years of my 38-year career. We can do enforcement. We're part of the executive branch. We're not setting public policy as far as sidewalks. And that's really where it stands at this point. I'm not sure we'll ever have sidewalks on Hoyt Street. That is a public policy decision that is made, certainly with the chief of police.
Yeah, I think as you put very well, Chief, I think our hands are somewhat tied on this one in terms of the crosswalks, but the dynamic speed sign I think is a great suggestion. Something hopefully we can push for and try to get in there.
Yeah. Installing a dynamic speed sign on an encroachment permit in comparison to the sidewalk issue is an easy lift. We will get an encroachment permit from the state of Connecticut to install dynamic speed signs on 106 with the caveat that the town installs and maintains in perpetuity those, which we, my dealings with Ed Gentile at DPW will not be an issue. The only potential issue with the dynamic speed signs on Upper Hoyt Street is the amount of foliage that we have there in the summer months. Those devices typically run by solar panels. They do need a fair amount of sunlight to recharge. We'll look at it. If we have to get a down drop from CL&P to get power off a utility pole, and that's what needs to be done, I think that's what we can do. Here's a proven method. We put them in Darien. We see that they work. I don't see any downside for putting them on Upper Hoyt Street.
Agreed.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Next, vacancy created by the retirement of Captain Shredders.
Well, as the commission well knows, I tried to arm wrestle Captain Shredders to the best of my ability as to not take his well-earned retirement. Monday was his last day, certainly a bittersweet day. He's been a friend to me, and he was a stellar employee for this department for 32 years. Deserves more than a fair amount of credit and kudos for his performance and dedication to this department. He will be greatly missed. To that end, since he is gone, I will recommend to the police commission that you folks formally move to fill the position as created by Captain Shredders. I think perhaps in our last meeting that we did that already, but I don't see any. Do it again, that we're certainly going to fill the position from Captain Shredders. To that end, I put out a list for our existing lieutenants. They have until Monday to decide if they want to compete in the process for captain. I don't know how many lieutenants will sign up for that process. We'll see on Monday. But we're certainly going to fill Captain Shredder's position. I believe we can probably fill it within 30 days if the commission sees that as attainable.
Chief, do you need a formal vote?
Commissioner Hufford or Commissioner Hayes may remember, I think we did that at the last meeting.
Okay, fair enough.
But in advance that we knew he was leaving, that we were going to fill that position. I don't know if we did it formally at an open meeting, at a public meeting. So I would ask that you make a motion and formally do that. That way we're covered.
Going to make a motion, so Kevin, I'll make a motion to fill the vacancy created by the retirement of Captain Shredders.
Thank you, Brett.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done. Thank you. Chief, we also have vacancies for lieutenant and sergeant.
Right. So this has not been yet discussed at a police commission meeting. And because of the retirement of Captain Shredders, which occurred on the 1st of February, we will have a vacancy for the rank of lieutenant and a rank of additional sergeant once a captain is promoted. I will recommend to the commission that we once again fill those two positions. We have one open position for Sergeant Shredder's, Sergeant Cirillo's retirement. That has already been taken care of. I will make a motion. I will ask you to make a motion that we fill the position for lieutenant and an additional sergeant.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to fill the vacancies for a lieutenant and one sergeant position.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Good.
to that end, I just want to, advise the commission that we'll have further discussion on these positions. Just because we are filling the rank does not mean in perpetuity that they will always be in the same position that they are now. The rank will exist, but perhaps the duties of those positions may be moved around as to best meet the needs of the department going forward into the future.
Agreed.
And last thing on the agenda is false alarm account request for department flag.
Yes, I'd like to make a request. It's estimated about $350, so I'll make a formal request of up to maybe $400 for a Darien Police Department flag. We do have one now, but it's kind of flimsy. It doesn't have a pole that we can use for any formal ceremonies. For example, we had a 9/11 ceremony that was hosted by the high school for emergency services. We're the only ones that didn't have a flag. So small budget item, but I'd like to request that for up to $400.
If that's
Okay,
a motion, I'll second.
Great. So all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I think that's it. Is there anything else, Chief?
Being that this is a regular meeting, I just have one thing to add in the traffic world. Apparently there's going to be some type of work done in Norwalk. I don't know, somewhere maybe over by the Norwalk Community College. I just want to put this on the commission's radar. because there's a potential that we are going to be getting at least a temporary traffic light at US 1 and West Norwalk Road by Chipotle and by the bank up there. There is a potential that the state may decide to install a permanent traffic light at US 1 and West Norwalk Road. So I'll keep the commission posted as we move forward. If a traffic light was installed there that was properly phased and working in conjunction with the other traffic lights in that corridor, we do get collisions at West Norwalk Road, especially with people coming out and trying to make a left to head toward Norwalk. So that may be an upgrade on US 1 and West Norwalk Road for safety. I don't think at first blush that I would have any aversion to getting a traffic light there, as long as it worked properly in phasing with the other lights in that corridor. So I'll keep you posted as we move along.
You mentioned this is for some potential construction.
Pardon me?
This is for temporary construction for right now?
Yeah, right now, there's something going on in Norwalk that's going to require road closures. So I think that they're going to be shunting traffic down West Norwalk Road, hence the need for at least a temporary traffic signal there. If the traffic's coming down West Norwalk Road is going to be substantially higher, you almost have no chance of getting out there to make a left if there's 10 or 12 people backed up there on a regular basis. So, yeah. At least temporary, I think that light's going to be coming, but they may find out that it works so well and it adds an element and margin of safety there that they might agree to put it in there full time.
Thank you, Chief. We got to talk about the next meeting. I believe, Kim, Jan, if I'm correct, that the next meeting via the regular cycle should be on the 17th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
We want to keep that one on the docket.
I'm not sure that we'll have much on the agenda, but let's keep it there and we can discuss. When would the next one be? Let's give me 2 weeks after that.
Thursday,
March
March
3rd.
3rd.
I don't have a sense that we're going to have that much. Does anyone have a strong feeling either way?
Available on
Might
all.
give if we move it to the 3rd, it might give people some time if they like the person who wanted to come for Patton Drive, just a little extra time to work their schedule.
March 3rd is A-okay with the chief.
August
Other
3rd.
commissioners?
Good.
All right. Why don't we say the 3rd?
4 p.m.
That gives us a little time to see if we're going to be remote or if we'll be back in live and in color.
Yep. And make sure that anyone who wants to come has ample opportunity to move their calendar.
Good. Anything else?
I have nothing further.
Nope.
Motion to adjourn.
Nope.
Motion.
Second.